Okay, y'all, when I tell you that this yellow squash was so good, it's so good, y'all, till it melts in your mouth. If you have never cooked yellow squash, you need to do this recipe, baby. It is so delicious. So I'm gonna show you how I made it. This is the yellow squash. I cooked all three of those, y'all, because I just wanted to make sure that I had enough. So I don't know how you wash your vegetables, your fruits and vegetables, but I just put it down in some water and I kind of scrubbed it with my little scrub brush, to get a little bit of the dirt off. And then I am going to just cut them up, and I cut all three of them up, but I just wanted to show you how you can cut them up any kind of way your little heart desires. But this is how I like mine to look, so that's why I cut it up like that. And so I also use, I think this is a sweet onion, maybe. I just cut the onion up too because I just like the taste of onion with the yellow squash, because when I tell you that it makes it taste so good with that onion, OMG. So here I just put a little avocado oil, and I'm going to mix some of this butter in with that olive oil. Baby, when I tell you flavor, I mean it was total flavor. So you can add any kind of butter you like. You can leave the butter out. This is my roasted garlic there. I'm gonna put it in later on, but I did the onions now, and when I tell you it was smelling so good in that kitchen, man, I was so hungry. This was my first meal of the day, and as you notice, I used a whole heap of sack of onions because I like the way the onions taste. I'm just saying, so you can saute the onions as long as you like. I like to cook them most of the way before I start adding the squash. So here I am adding the squash. Y'all, it looked like a lot of squash, right? It actually was. It is a whole lot of squash. But I did that on purpose because I want to have some for later and maybe share a little. So I put all three of those squash in there. Now this is the roasted garlic. I'm adding it there. I like to just keep roasted garlic in the refrigerator, so when I do get ready to use it, I already have it. So that's what that is. That's just some garlic that I had left in the refrigerator. Now I'm going to put the top on it to kind of let it steam a little bit, y'all. I added a little bit of this bone broth to it just to kind of soften it up as it cooks. So here I'm going to pour a little bit of it in there. You can use as much bone broth or whatever you like to put in your vegetables. I put a little bone broth because I'm trying to keep this a little bit healthier than usual. So here I'm just going to keep stirring it. I didn't add any seasonings to it yet, simply because I wanted it to cook down some before I started adding seasoning. So I'm adding it now because, as you can see, it cooked down a little bit. You can add any kind of seasonings you like. These are just the seasonings that I like in my squash. And when I tell you you need to try these seasonings, it makes it just melt in your mouth. I mean, like, this squash is just so good. Make you want to eat it every day. And don't forget your everyday seasoning from Trader Joe's. I use everyday seasoning in pretty much everything that I cook. So here I'm just going to keep adding the seasoning, and don't forget the garlic, man. When I tell you the garlic makes a difference too, it's like all of these seasonings really just bring this together. It just brings out all the flavor, and you definitely need the salt just so that it don't taste blah. So, and this right here, I think this is what makes it kind of melt in your mouth, and it's a little salty, so you got to be careful with adding salt to that. But here it is really just cooking down. All I'm going to keep doing is stirring it, making sure they're not sticking together, because when I tell you I had a whole heap of sack of squash in this pan, I really did. And here I'm going to taste it to make sure it has enough seasonings in it. I'm not sure if y'all taste your food as you go, but I find that that is very, 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 very important, that you taste your food as you go. I have heard some people say that they don't, but how do you know what it tastes like before you finish cooking it? What if you get to the end of the recipe and then it doesn't have enough seasoning, and then it's already done, and then the seasoning just sitting on the top of the food? So make sure you're trying your food before you finish cooking it. Y'all, when I tell you this squash came out so good, y'all, I ain't really want to share, but I did at the end. And I mixed it with some sweet potatoes and some turkey wings because I was so hungry. Like I said, this was my first meal of the day. And when I tell you those sweet potatoes were so good with this, like all of this stuff just brought the squash together. Look at that turkey wing, y'all. I love turkey wings, OMG. So I had one piece left, so I decided to eat it with my squash and my potatoes. And I am so glad that I did because this meal was absolutely amazing. So listen, if you try this recipe, make sure you share your squash with your family and friends. And make sure you subscribe to my channel. Give me a thumbs up. Baby, I'm praising God because it was just that good. So make sure you watch my next video. I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.